60,000 seats here at Richmond International Raceway, and already half of them are full, and there's a pretty good chance that a lot more will be filled up. A gigantic traffic jam has been created. It's shopping night in Richmond for some. It's race night for many others. We understand the traffic's backed up some 2 or 3 miles trying to get into this 3/4-mile track where those 34 cars are getting ready to get it on tonight. And for just a moment, let's talk about that, Neil Bonnet. Strategy on this track. Number one, when you drive at night, usually those things look a little wider.
Yeah, Ken, luckily enough, most of these guys have came out of the ranks where they raced in nighttime races. But what you get into, the perspective out of the car, when you're sitting in the car with the lights glaring on the windshield, how much room do you have between that bumper on your car and the rear bumper of the other guy? The best way to do is feel, and that's what most of these guys do. But it is a little bit different in the car. In the daytime, we have to deal with the sun, but this thing right here is a little bit different, and the guys are going to have to work on it to get the cars in the corners without banging around all over each other.
Debbie Vaughn, how do you think they're going to handle it out here tonight?
Well, I think these Busch drivers are used to working under nighttime conditions. A lot of their races don't have pit stops, but they're night races. So I don't think we're going to see a problem that way. I think, you know, smoke or anything like that, they have spotters out there that can help them out.
How about pit road?
I don't... Some of the jackmen were a little bit nervous about pit road hitting the spot because our races normally are not... We don't have to have a pit stop. They're short enough. This is a pit stop race. I don't think it will be a problem. They brought in a lot of lights.
So the 150 miles is what, 2 stops for fuel on these 6 cylinders?
I think they're talking about 2 stops. The only thing that might enter into it is the question on tires. This being a night race, I think the tire companies brought a little bit softer compound, wanting to be competitive but also be quick on a cool racetrack. Did they bring the right compound? We're going to have to see.
For another perspective on this night race at Richmond International Raceway, let's go to the Dean of American Racecasters, the editor-publisher of the National Speed Sport News, Chris Economaki.
Oh, thank you, Ken. Well, you know, night racing's an old hat in the United States, but never for a major race. It's the big-time races are held usually on Sunday afternoons, and this race tonight should see the fastest speeds of stock cars at night in racing history. The lights are great here, but years ago it wasn't that way. I remember a night at Freeport, Long Island, when they had a spectator race. 30 or 40 cars got out there. It was weak lights, and they rolled around on the parade lap, and they came down and took the green flag, and as they boomed down the back straightaway, the leader, who'd never driven before, went off the track through the fence and out into an unlighted baseball diamond. And every car on the track followed him there. It was really funny. The starter got hysterical. He lay down on the start-finish line and was laughing. He couldn't control himself. The lights were shining on an empty racetrack, and drivers started running in from the baseball diamond, wanted to know what happened. That's what night racing was like in the beginning, Ken.
Let's go to more on the story of the lights here at Richmond. Here's Mike Joy.
Well, there are no 100-watt bulbs here, Ken. On each of 9 Musco lighting trucks, a 3-inch cable reaches 120 feet in the air to power the 15 bulbs, each of which puts out 150 million candela. 9 units, 1,350,000,000 candle power to light this speedway. It's the next best thing to daylight, and if you want to pay this light bill, bring $75,000. That's not quite as much as they'll be racing for tonight, and we're going to meet the starting lineup in a unique way this evening. 2 of the nation's preeminent print motorsports journalists are with us, dabbling in TV. You've already met Ye editor Chris, and with him is the editor of America's most honored racing publication, Stock Car Racing Magazine, Dr. Dick Berggren. They'll take us through the starting lineup. Chris?
I'm starting by number 03, Pete Suspenzo. He's a name not familiar. A lot of fresh yellow paint on this car. He had a little altercation in practice earlier today. They freshened up the back of the car. He's starting last. He has to improve. Dick?
Well, here we are back in 33rd starting position with Troy Beebe. This is a rookie effort. This is his first year on the circuit. It's only his 2nd time here at Richmond. His father is working hard to try to help this young man. He's out in California trying to assemble a coast-to-coast taco connection to try to bring some more money to this team. He could use some extra help tonight. Look at this. He's got to pass 32 cars if he wants to win this thing. Chris?
In 32nd place, a guy with the right name on his car, Grease Lightning. It's Ed Berrier of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Ed is a big star in this series for a long time, but he's not been winning lately, and he's going to try to get one before this season is over. Dick?
Well, boy, way back here in 31st spot, Chris, Davey Allison. Wouldn't expect this, but this is the kind of year this guy has had. He hasn't won a race in Busch Grand National Racing, even though he's been very competitive. He's been knocked out 5 times with broken valve springs. He's broken an oil pump. At Dover, he thought he had the race won. He ran out of gas. They brought the car back to the garage and discovered there were 6 gallons in it. For here, they don't know what's wrong with the car. Davey says, I'm just going to drive this thing till the wheels fall off. All the way back here, this guy is going to be something to watch tonight.
Okay, Elton Sawyer, car 67. He's starting in 30th place. This is probably the cleanest and shiniest car on the track. Elton's a bridegroom. He married Patty Moise not too long ago, but he hasn't been doing too well on the track, but his car certainly looks right. Dick?
Harry Gantz all the way back in 29th spot. This is the car and this is the driver that won the race here in the spring. And they don't know why they're back here either. They guessed maybe the gear was wrong. They certainly hope they've got the right gear in it tonight. This car, or this driver, won the Southern 500 last week. And look at, he's all the way in the back of the pack. That shows what racing could do to you, Chris.
Well, TIC Financial Systems, that tells you what David Green is financed to the hill. He's from Owensboro, Kentucky, in car number 8, and he's starting in 28th position in an Oldsmobile. Dick?
Starting 27th is Steve Grissom. He could have been a college man, could have been a football player. He had a total of 13 football college scholarships offers. He was both an offensive player, a defensive player. He said, nah, I'd rather be a race car driver. So last year he won 4 races in this series. He won a single race this year in the series. It's taken him 2 different sponsors to get him this far in the series, but he's got enough to go all the way, and he's looking to run a whole lot better tonight.
Number 63 is the defending champion of the series, Chuck Bowen from Portland, Oregon. And he may have coffee nerves starting way back in 26th position in this car, advertising the new ground roast. Dick?
Well, car supposed to be starting in 25th spot is Dick Trickle. He's not here yet. Some of the guys are still trying to get through technical inspection. Trickle is one of those. On Monday, he won at the Minnesota State Fair. Last month in August, he won a major ARTCO race. He hasn't won anything in Busch Grand National Racing this month so far. He says tonight's the night. He's got to get out of tech inspection first, though.
Well, the winner of the Daytona 500 was Ernie Irvin, and he's with us tonight in car number 10, starting in 24th position. He's from Modesto, California, and the ride, a Chevrolet. Dick?
Well, everybody'd like to meet a nice lady. This fella, Cecil Eunice, met a real nice lady named Carol Levin. She found him as a dirt track driver in Georgia. She's paid for race cars for this guy all the way from the dirt tracks to here to the big time. Cecil Eunice looking for a good run tonight on the pavement.
Okay, Bobby Dotter all the way from Chicago, 08, and look at this color. His sponsor, Cling Free. I wonder what he's like at the laundromat with this car, but he'll be pushing it hard tonight. Dick?
Well, Richard Lassiter is also in his freshman year as a race car driver. Last year he went to Buck Baker's driving school. They said, hey, you got some talent. He said, how much? They said, you got a lot of talent. He said, okay, quit his job, went out, bought a race car from Davey Allison, became a full-time race car driver. Here he is in the middle of the field tonight.
And number 99, Jeff Burton from South Boston, Virginia, a pretty-looking machine. He's one of 2 brothers in tonight's contest. A pretty fair-looking machine, and he eats regularly, courtesy of Food Lion and Armor.
Well, Tracy Leslie is going to be starting in the 19th position. He has yet to win a Busch Grand National race, although he's got a 2nd spot to his credit. He's the 1988 ARCA champion, says this series is about the toughest thing he's ever tried to drive. He's going to have his hands full tonight, starting here in the middle of the pack, Chris.
And here's a well-known name in stock car racing in number 17 here, Darrell Waltrip. The paint job on this car is said to be the most expensive in all of stock car racing, with the design factors and the various shades and colors along the side of this Western Auto car. A lot of fans in the stands for Darrell Waltrip.
Tom Peck's number 96 car is going to start in the 17th position. You like to cheer for an underdog? Cheer for this guy. No sponsor name on the quarter panels, no hired help. It's all volunteer help. They use a lot of recycled pieces and parts in the car and in the engine. These guys do remarkably well on very, very little.
One of only 2 Fords in tonight's contest is to be driven by Jeff Gordon, the newly crowned United States Auto Club Silver Crown champion. That's an open-wheel series. He won that title on Labor Day at DuQuoin, Illinois. He's Ford's white hope for big-time stock car success in the years to come.
Well, Morgan Shepherd is hoping things are going to turn around for him here at Richmond, Virginia. The last race he finished in this series, believe it or not, was back in February here at Richmond, Virginia. In every other race this year, he's fallen out, mostly with engine problems. How diverse have these engine problems been? Last weekend at Darlington, believe it or not, the little lever on the fuel pump broke while Morgan was in contention to win. Boy, this guy, this team, they need to finish tonight more than they need to win the race, Chris.
Well, here we have a stalwart from Coopersville, Michigan, Butch Miller, the only car in the race on Hoosier tires, number 75. He's starting 14th. He's a veteran campaigner and looks to do well in the contest this evening.
I'd rather not start in 13th spot, but that's Robert Presley's distinction tonight, Chris. He is driving the Alliance Oldsmobile. Ricky Pearson, son of David Pearson, famed Winston Cup driver, is doing the crew chief work on this automobile. This team has one win in 1991. They'd like to make it two right here tonight.
In 27 is Ward Burton, the brother of Jeff Burton we mentioned earlier, in a highly polished car at Gwaltney Foods. Many of the cars in tonight's race are sponsored by the food industry. Dick?
Love story for you here, Chris. Car number 79, Dave Rezendi, starting in the 11th spot. Guy was a terrific modified driver. In 1988, he had a chance to drive a Busch Grand National car. He got in the seat one time, turned the steering wheel, and he said, that's it, I'm in love. He packed his suitcase, packed his family, went south, gave up everything he had. This is a family-owned, family-sponsored team, and he wants to be a Busch Grand National racer that wins more than anything else, and that's something he hasn't yet done in this series.
Car number 6 belongs to Tommy Houston. 10 years ago, this racing series began, and Tommy Houston was in the very first race. And he has been in every race since then with this car. But this year, he has failed to win. He's hoping he gets one before the season is over. Car number 6 starting in 10th place.
Starting in 9th is Dale Jarrett driving the number 32 car. He is having the best season of his entire career. He has won in Winston Cup. He has won in Busch Grand National Racing. He comes from a racing family. His father, a well-known race car driver turned journalist. His sister is on the tour as a public relations person. Her husband is a crew chief for a Winston Cup car. Dale's other brother used to drive race cars. Let me tell you, this is a racing family.
In car number 87, starting 8th, is Joe Nemechek of Lakeland, Florida. Look at this beautiful refrigerator white machine. And if he should win tonight, you can bet your life they'll be dancing the polka in the Polish sections of Richmond tonight.
Third in points and starting in 7th position, Hurricane Jimmy Hensley. And we've got a real switch here. Hensley tested this racetrack for Hoosier tires. He has been the main man for Hoosier all year. Tonight, he has switched to Goodyear. They threw a set of Goodyear tires on this automobile this afternoon. It went 4/10 faster than it had gone before here. Hensley said, that's good enough for me. Hoosiers went out. Goodyears went on. The Hoosier people said, that's okay, let him run him tonight. He can run Hoosier some other time. Hensley looking to win out here tonight on Goodyears for a change.
A hometown favorite, the only driver in the race from Richmond, Virginia, Tommy Ellison, car number 12. He's one of the top scrappers in all of stock car racing, and he's got many fans in the stands.
Starting in 5th position, driving car number 34, Todd Bodine, 27 years old, 2 poles, 1 win. Some tragedy on this team. The crew chief, Clyde McLeod, not here tonight. He had a death in the family. Brett Bodine, Todd's brother, therefore, is going to be the crew chief tonight. His other brother, Jeff Bodine, is going to be the chief spotter. Another family operation here tonight at Richmond.
One of the roughest, toughest competitors in all of stock car racing is in this black number 3, the Darth Vader car. It belongs to Dale Earnhardt, headed for a 5th straight Winston Cup championship, taking a night off to race in the Busch Grand National Series. And he has a host of fans as well.
And here's a brand new automobile. Michael Waltrip is going to start in the 3rd position with a car that had never turned a wheel on a racetrack before this afternoon. Waltrip won twice last year in this division, has not yet won in 1991. He finished 2nd to Earnhardt at Daytona. He finished 2nd to Earnhardt at Darlington. He said that's almost like a win, but not quite.
And from River City, St. Louis, Missouri, the brother of former champion Rusty Wallace, Kenny Wallace, fighting for the championship with a man alongside, 1 point out of leading the standings. And tonight's race may see this man take the lead when the checkered flag waves. Dick?
On the pole is Bobby Labonte in car number 44. That's the same number his brother drove. Took him all year to put this thing on the pole. He could sure use it tonight. He's only 1 point ahead of Kenny Wallace for the point championship. So he has definitely got his work cut out for him. He said he did a bonsai run to put the thing on the pole. See if he can win this thing at Richmond.
Now, what a tribute to motorsports. This great 3/4-mile racing facility is directly behind me. Brand new amphitheater is being constructed as part of this new mecca for tourists here in Virginia, Richmond. Well, we're getting down towards start time, and it's time to meet the guys who are in contention to win it all this year, up for the national championship and Grand National ranks. And earlier, Mike Joy talked with them.
I'm joined by the two drivers who are 1 point apart in the chase for the Busch Grand National Championship. Bobby Labonte has 2 victories, just picked up his 3rd pole position, 8 top 5s, and 18 top 10 finishes, but 1 point. Not much of a lead.
No, it didn't. You know, this Penrose Oldsmobile car runs good, you know, in the first 25 races. Really doesn't mean much now because the next 6, we got 1 point difference. We should have started right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's going to be a hard-fought battle from here on out, I'm sure.
How close are these two? Kenny Wallace, also with 2 victories, 2 poles, 10 top 5s, 15 top 10s, and just 1 point behind.
Well, you know, the way I look at it is that a lot of the teams are trying to mentally, you know, get both of us screwed up so they can catch us. And what I'm trying to do is just act like, hey, this is the start of the season. It's all over now. It's a foot race to Martinsville, and it's going to be interesting. Bobby and me are kind of both the same people. We've, you know, built our own race cars, come on up, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be interesting.
Your personal best, both of you 3rd at this racetrack. I understand you fellas hang out a lot together, and you're pretty close off the racetrack, but tonight, different story.
Well, we try to maintain a friendly relationship. It's hard for us. I mean, we do radio shows together and do things of that nature. Bobby lives about 80 miles from me, though.
But, you know, when we go to the racetrack, it's a lot of fun because, you know, we usually park beside each other. So, you know, we've got a lot of, you know, a lot of things in common, our brothers and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good relationship. You know, we always just, you know what each other's going to do. Just, hey, you know, what's going on? And, you know, it's a lot of fun to race this guy because he's a good and clean driver.
The big question, whose car is working better tonight?
Oh, man. He's got the pole at a 22.57, and I'm second at a 22.60. So that's the width of that fingernail right there. We don't know. We'll have to get into the race and see.
6 races to go in the season. They're just that far apart. 1 point.
Thank you, Mike. Let's take a look right now at the course over which they're going to be competing. Neil Bonnet, tell us about it.
Ken, the half-mile racetrack is gone, and as you can see by this diagram, the additional mileage to put it up to a 3/4 mile racetrack was added on the front straightaway. The big bow on the front straightaway lets you get a real fast entry down into turn 1. The problem area, if there is one, is coming off of turn 2. You can see the big sweeping turn up onto a square straightaway. Off of turn 2, it's very easy to get into that wall. Down the back straightaway, big sweeping turn into 3, big wide exit off of 4. The track is very easy to drive. As I said earlier, the only place you have to worry about is off turn 2. Front straightaway 8 degrees, back straightaway 2 degrees. Not only do you deal with a real sharp turn up 2, very little banking, so they got their work cut out for them. Let's go down to Chris Economacky on pit road.
Well, I'm next to the man on the top of the world in stock car racing, Dale Earnhardt. Dale, Friday night at the track, 200 laps. Is it work or is it fun?
It's going to be fun, I hope. I hope we have a little fun here tonight. The car's working good, qualified pretty good, so looking forward to a good night.
The fact that it's not your regular series, can you do things you might not do otherwise?
No, we're just going to try to win the race. Do the same thing we do in the Winston Cup car. This is one of the engines from the Winston Cup team. They got the Spinney Clinton built the engine, so, you know, Tony and the guys fixed the car, so we're ready to go here.
Well, I see you've got a big smile on your face. Good luck, Dale.
Well, I'm with Michael Waltrip. He's on the inside of the second row. Michael, get down to showtime.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. This is what it's all about, Dick. Racing NASCAR under the lights. Big crowd on hand. It should be a super race. I'm looking forward to it.
You got an awful lot of strong cars behind you. They're going to be trying to chase down that back bumper. You got a good spotter to let you know where all these people are?
Yeah, my main man, Mark, he's up top spotting for me, keeping an eye out. He spots for me in the Winston Cup races. That's become a very important part of what we do. You got to have an extra set of eyes as tough as this competition is. We want to get this Pennzoil Pontiac in victory lane. We hadn't been able to win one of these races this year. This is a brand new Banjo Matthews car, and we think that it's going to be what we need to win. The guy sitting beside me thinks the same thing in the same kind of car, but I think we'll out-battle him.
It's going to take some battling. How rough a race do you expect tonight?
Well, you got to take it easy on these guys in front of you. You got to give them plenty of room. Bobby's leading the points, and Kenny's second. We got to give them a lot of respect because we don't want to do anything to interfere with what they do. So hopefully we can beat them, but we want to make sure we give them a lot of room. When it comes down to racing guys like Earnhardt and my brother and Harry Gant, we'll let it all hang out when that happens.
And we'll see for ourselves what's going to happen in just a few minutes when we come back for the start of the race.
We're ready to go racing here at Richmond International Raceway. It's 200 laps, 150 miles to be covered tonight. Our in-car camera is going to be carried by Jimmy Hensley, who knows his way around this 3/4 mile oval. Let's take a look at what the weather is. Jimmy's car, that Oldsmobile, getting ready to cut loose. The temperature right now at 71 degrees, and it's receded 4 or 5 degrees in the past 45 minutes. It may come down some more. The command to fire the engines has just been given. We're about to get with the program tonight, Neil.
And Ken, you know, we've questioned off and on as we look at the shot here about the lights. I'm not sure that the racing surface itself is not brighter than it was out in the middle of daytime. They've zeroed these million candle power right on that racetrack, and it's really lit up well.
Billion candle power ready to turn it out here tonight. Impressive sight, isn't it, Debbie?
It really is. The crowd's wonderful, and like Neil says, the place is lit up.
Yeah, Paul Sawyer and company has done a magnificent job with this facility, which has become a real destination point all over the eastern seaboard. And this track is so smooth, and with the exception of turn 2 where you pinch it, you can run wide. You can go 2 or 3 deep across the line like at Michigan. But at turn 2, you'd better be on it, or you'd better be thinking about another career.
And Ken, every driver here knows that. When you build a brand new racetrack or whatever happens, you go to a new facility, there's going to be some things about it you've got to learn. Everybody knows turn 2's there. They deal with it. There's plenty of room around this racetrack. Anywhere you go. After what we used to race on here in Richmond on that half-mile racetrack, this thing is plenty fine.
And everybody remembers about Neil's bonnet on that old half-mile when you stopped from, what, 90 or 105 to 0 and 4 feet over there in turn 2.
You know, I was leading the race, Ken, and it's probably as easy as I'd ever led a race, and I went from about 100 to -5. It backed up 5 foot when it hit, and I certainly remember it.
A year ago, this race was the turning point in the career of Rick Mast. He won this event, and Steve Grissom drove that Gadsden, Alabama campaigner to a brilliant second place. It was a turning point in the career of Bobby Hamilton, who won his Grand National race. That wonderful Grand National racer, now Winston Cup racer out of Nashville, Tennessee, won this race the year before. And then, of course, prior to that, Handsome Harry was the man that did it. Harry Gant has won here. Dale Earnhardt has been victorious in this event. In fact, Mark Martin has won in the fall race. Field is rolling. And let's take a look at this grid one more time. Up in front, Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace for row 1, 1 point apart in the point battle. And in row 2, it's Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt ready to go. Row 3, it's Todd Bodine and Virginia's own Tommy Ellis. Row 4 is Jimmy Hensley, Joe Nemechek. In row 5 is Dale Jarrett, who's having such a grand year, and Tommy Houston. Row 6, Dave Resendez and Ward Burton from Virginia. Row 7 is Robert Presley and Butch Miller out of the Midwest. Morgan Shepherd's in row 8, and that sensational Jeff Gordon on the outside. Going to row 9 is Tom Peck. He's been in this series since '89, still looking for that first win, and Darrell Waltrip's alongside. Row 10 is Tracy Leslie, the former ARCA champion, and Jeff Burton. Going to row 11, there you have Richard Lassiter in that 05 car, and Bobby Dotter, the Illinois campaigner, second generation. His dad was a heck of a racer. Row 12 is Cecil Eunice, and there's Ernie Irvin ready to go in car 10. Going to row 13, Dick Trickle, and I think you should watch Ted Conder's car tonight, number 18. Chuck Bound, defending national champion, alongside row 14. There's Steve Grissom, young David Green up there in the rookie campaign. Row 15, Harry Gant. There's another one to come from the back, and Eldon Sawyer. Row 16, Davey Allison's going to come out humming, and Ed Barrier. Row 17 tonight, Troy Beebe and Peter Suspenzo.
There's drivers from 18 states on the track, and the lineup consists of 11 Oldsmobiles, 7 Buicks, 7 Chevys, 7 Pontiacs, and 2 Fords. So we've got a good representative field out there, Ken.
1 lap, and they will be racing, Chris. Getting ready to go tonight here on Prime Network. It's NASCAR Grand National Racing from the heart of stock car racing, Virginia, and the famed Virginia Fairgrounds. Up on the point, number 44 draws ahead. A little psyching going on as they settle down.
Yeah, they're psyching because they're also trying to get those tires warmed up. These cool conditions, they're going to try to get some heat in those tires and see if they can get them stuck to this cool racetrack.
Light is off with the pace car. Set for a start from Jimmy Hensley's car, looking back at a true contender. Dale Jarrett, who's had such a remarkable year, won that race by just inches over Davey Allison at Michigan and Winston Cup, has come right back and won in Grand National. Here we are, ready for the break.
little bumping from Dale Earnhardt. Kenny Wallace got off to a little slow start. He got a little bump from the back.
Just a love tap.
Looked like he might have missed a gear and shoved him on into that other gear.
It's Labonte breaking into the lead on the back straightaway, cutting loose down to the inside. The yellow car is Michael Waltrip trying to make a move.
Tommy Houston seems to be slowing a little bit on the backstretch, Ken. The cars are kind of bunching up behind him.
As they complete lap number 1, out in front, it is Labonte going down into the corner. Here comes number 3, Earnhardt, up on the outside. In the second spot is Wallace, up to third, moves Earnhardt, and the yellow car, Michael Waltrip, falling back to fifth. Nemechek in the number 87, rim riding as they come around, turns 3 and 4 on lap 2.
Here's Wallace trying to make a move to the inside right here on the second lap.
Wallace right down in there. Remember, they're a point apart going into this battle in the championship and springing out in front. Wallace for the moment, driving away by 2-3 car lengths. Earnhardt at number 3 comes with him.
Labonte might have got caught out on that outside group because we've got Earnhardt and Waltrip coming underneath them again.
Springing down to the inside, looks like Hensley trying to make a move. Nemechek trying to cut him off there and was not able to close the inside lane up. There's the number 25 of Hensley trying to move in. From Jimmy Hensley's view, there he is right down to the bottom and just in front of him, Joe Nemechek.
And when you say right to the bottom, Ken, there's that wall that they're all talking about coming off turn 4. The cars are right up against it. Here they are going in the first turn. Cars wiggling around a little bit right here, coming up off the corner. You really see the car turning around.
Trouble. Hensley getting sideways, sliding down the back straightaway, and you're with him. He gets it refired. There has been no caution thrown. Wild ride for Jimmy Hensley, and the yellow is not out. He's back underway. Field is down across the start-finish line. He is back going once again. Hensley got into that turn number 2, that tricky turn 2, and away it went.
Looked like he might have got a little help from the rear, and it also looked kind of like I was spinning out myself. It's been a while, and I was turning around.
Let's take a look at the
replay on it. There he is on the inside. It's just a matter of pinching the car down. It's flat on the inside. He got the left side tires off too far. The back end came around, and he knows that wall's there. He can't work with any more track on the outside. He had to spin it.
You were riding live with Hensley as he lost it in turn 2, and you saw Ellis in the 12 car moving through. Caution is out.
Tommy Houston.
Tommy Houston on the backstretch. He's rolling.
He's rolling, but he got up in the wall in turn 2. Tommy Houston's number 6 was up on the outside of the second turn. He's brought out the first caution of the night at the 7th lap. And let's look again at what happened to Tommy Houston.
Here they are. Tommy's already got the car out of shape on the outside. This is the area we've been talking about. Wide entry, crowded up, and there's a little bump and stuff goes on, and you can actually just spin the car like we saw earlier from Hensley's car. So at this time, I don't think he hit the wall very hard to be able to continue.
Hickory, North Carolina's Tommy Houston brings out the first caution of the night, and he'll have to fight his way back into this thing. More from Richmond shortly. From the Pennzoil aerial platform, looking at the field, rounding turns 3 and 4. Here at Richmond International Raceway with 9 laps complete, and they're just about set to go green. Underway, and on the brake, here's Earnhardt going for the lead. Earnhardt down to the inside in car number 3. He's under Wallace and away.
You know, at this race last year, Kenny Wallace made the statement that he learned a lot from Dale. At the end of that race, he's learning a little bit now, and these restarts are going to have to really be ready to go.
There's a guy that's just fantastic on restarts. He is so good when the flag comes out. Now you're watching Michael Waltrip working on Kenny Wallace. Kenny Wallace in second, then the number 30. Waltrip in the 3rd spot. We are at lap 11 of the 200 to be run. Joe Nemechek in that white car running 4th in your picture.
You know, you're just saying we're 11 laps in the race, Ken, and on the right side of that little yellow race car that was brand new tonight, there's donuts all the way down the side of it, wheel marks. So this early in the race, we're already seeing a lot of close competition.
Going 5th is Labonte in 6th. That's Jarrett. See the front 4.
The same car he won last weekend with at Darlington. Earlier today, one of his crew members, Craig Donnelly, said, oh, he likes this car, and when he likes the car, it's automatically faster. That's bad news for everybody else in this field. Meanwhile, Todd Bodine has radioed his crew. He said, I need some tape on the the windshield. I got a glare problem. I can't see as well as I'd like. That's the first problem we've heard on pit road as a result of the lights. Ken?
That caution at lap number 7, a blessing for Jimmy Hensley. It allowed him to stay in the lead lap. Look at Wallace closing right back in on Earnhardt as they battle for the lead, with Michael Waltrip in 3rd and Joe Nemechek maintaining the 4th position at lap 14. There's Nemechek in the 87 running that 4th spot. Wallace continues to challenge on the leader. Now falls back a car length at turn 3. The Autolite Platinum 200. Here comes Wallace crowding right down to the bottom, trying to take that lead back.
Kenny stated earlier today that he was not going to take anything from any of the drivers. He's fighting for a championship, and he's going to stay strong. And he said if he has to move him over a little bit, he'll just have to do it.
Kenny Wallace making another stout run of these radial tires. He's down to the bottom of the racetrack and going for the lead. Has Earnhardt pinned on the outside. Can he keep him there?
Ken, this is going to be very interesting. You know, he said he likes to go to school racing against guys like Earnhardt and Rusty. Knows it's time to graduate. He's going to have to dish some of it out.
And it was right here that he went to school a year ago and had that incredible battle. Wallace fought Earnhardt on this track for 25, 30 laps and said he learned so much there. Got a big spin in turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Caution down. Second caution. This is at lap 17. And there you see the 67 car coming in with the nose badly blunted on that machine. That is Elton Sawyer's car. Let's take a look and replay. Wait a minute. Let's just check here as another car is coming by in bad trouble. That one looks like Chuck Bound may have a tire down.
Got the Panther bar. Looks like he's got the Panther bar knocked out of the rear. The rear end's running around. When you see the car wiggling back this, the rear end is not attached to the frame, and the car is running all over the back end. So he's going to have major problems with that.
Let's take a look at what happened out here, coming again out of that critical turn 2 area.
We're picking it up. There was a wreck coming off 2, and it turned into a multiple wreck. A couple of guys got pinched up against the wall, and then once you lose it, there's not any area for dodging over there very much, and they just start stacking up. The guys made a good move pulling back down to the inside out of the way.
That's Elton Sawyer, Richard Lassiter in the 05 car, and Troy Beebe. There's a shot of Elton's car.
Elton Sawyer had such high hopes tonight. His wife's going to run in the next show over at Dover, Delaware. Tonight was to be his night. Patty Mui is getting the next shot out, but for the moment, it's back under caution, and his car's in serious trouble with 18 laps complete. Battles up in front, and it's between Earnhardt and Wallace, but it's Kenny Wallace tonight who's putting up the scrap.
Welcome back to Richmond as we have this view from the Pennzoil aerial platform. We talked at the top of the show about the close battle for first in the point parade, but of the top 6, half of them have already not fared well. Tommy Houston brushed the wall. Chuck Bound has broken the rear end, and Jimmy Hensley, 3rd in the points, 155 markers out of 1st, had that early spin that nearly brought out the first caution of the day. Ken Squire?
Thank you very much, Mike. We're at 21 laps complete now. The first incident of the day did not bring out a caution. It was Jimmy Hensley in 25. And look at it again, and there's an interesting point about this spin by Hensley, currently 3rd in the Grand National points. This is turn 2, where it gets loose on him. And the point here is, Debbie?
Well, Jimmy's used to running the Hoosier tires all year, and the other drivers, the Goodyear tires have been radial tires. Like at Darlington, we ran radial. Hoosier have been bias ply, and they say the radials aren't as forgiving, and maybe Jimmy just got a little bit loose on them and lost the car. You can't gather the car up as easy.
Yeah, they started running the radials in a lot of the Busch Grand National races, and no doubt it took the Winston Cup drivers a while to get used to that feel and know how you could throw the car around. That was not an extraordinary move to the inside. When it got away from him, he didn't have the recovery to come back.
Well, he's in 19th position right now, as you see the 25 out there. Here's Dick Bergman.
Well, the defending series champion Chuck Bound is behind the wall right now. There's a whole pile of crew members looking at the rear end of the car. They say it's pretty badly damaged. Chuck, what can you tell from behind the wheel? How bad is this car?
It's torn up pretty bad. We bent the rear end housing. We're going to be in here a while making repairs. It's just a shame so early in the race. You know, the 05 car slipped up a little bit, and Davey Allison and Dick Trickle got on by. I tried to follow him on through, and he didn't see me come down on me. We got together. I couldn't get away from him. He backed it into the fence coming out of 2, and I got squeezed between the 05 and the wall. It's just a bad break, unfortunate thing this early in the race.
He sure is going to spend some time behind the wall. The only way they can change a bed housing is to take the whole rear end out of the car, and that's what they're about to do.
Can I tell you how the concerned wife, you know, Debbie Bound, Chuck Bound, they've been married for years, but how the concerned wife feels about this? Before the race, they were betting a quarter or two, a nickel or two down there. You know who she picked tonight?
Who's that?
Car 7, Harry Dean.
Well, that's because I figured somebody already had Chuck, so I wanted to give Harry a break.
Yeah, sure.
Well, your bet's looking better all the time.
That's right, I think so.
23 laps are complete. Light is off on the pace car. We're ready to go racing in the Autolite Platinum 200 at Richmond International Raceway. Wallace in front, Earnhardt in second.
Ken, something to watch this time on the last restart. Dale got the jump on Kenny and took the lead. Let's see if Kenny is ready. He said he's going to school. Let's see if he's graduating.
These cars look very much like Winston Cup cars, but they're quite different. They only weigh 3,200 pounds against the 3,500, and they have V6 engines of 274 cubic inches displacement against 350. Back to you, Ken.
And they rev them up a whole lot tighter. There's the fight for the lead. On the outside, the Intimidator goes to work. It's Earnhardt on the outside. Kenny Wallace on the bottom of the racetrack. Back straightaway, back to top speed, going to turn 3. Give it to Earnhardt.
And that's the hard way to do it around the outside of it.
Here comes Wallace, crawling, creeping right back up on the bottom.
I understand that these tires, the radial tires, when they're cold, they're a little bit tricky. And maybe Earnhardt, with a little more experience, why those tires are cold, he's able to get the jump on Kenny.
Maintaining third is Michael Waltrip back straightaway. He hangs it right in there as they go down into turn 3 another time with Joe Nemechek, that Florida racer, looking good. There's Wallace, says, let's get physical as he works on Earnhardt a little. That's the guy he learned from last year. That's the guy he's batting around up in front. That's no way to play with a teacher.
Well, I think he got the teacher, Ken. He's right up alongside of him.
Almost even into 3. Here's Kenny Wallace back on the bottom.
Ken, here's car 9. He's running down the corner. The back end's been hit down. And when he goes in the corner, that's the fuel cell on there with some steel bracing. It's actually bottoming out. NASCAR is probably going to black flag this car. That's an earlier wreck. He's got the whole rear of the car dragging.
Back up in front, look at this struggle. We're at lap 27. Inside is Kenny Wallace, and outside is Earnhardt. And here comes Michael Waltrip right in there trying to stuff the nose of that number 30 Pontiac in there and closing in. Jarrett, the number 32 car, running in the 5th position. He's ready to make a move. 5 cars, dice for the lead at lap 28.
You know, early in the race, Mike Waltrip said that these guys are battling for points, and he's going to take it easy on them. Here's Earnhardt up here leading the race. He says he's going to try to, looks like Mikey's ready to make his move now.
Look at that incredible picture in the back straightaways. You see all those cars in this dice go all the way back and find the end of that group, and you have 6 cars now battling for that top running spot. This is a slam bam, thank you ma'am race the back straightaway.
You got to hand it to Nemechek. He's doing a good job, and we got Robert Presley coming up right alongside of him. Those are 2 Busch regulars. Nemechek has not won a race, and that's what he wants to do.
And Presley has just moved around. He was that 6th place car. He's gone by Dale Jarrett. He's closed up on Nemechek. And from Jimmy Hensley's in car in that Oldsmobile, he's right there pressing, working on him as he tries to cut through the field. Hensley getting back into this thing after spinning earlier in the going.
And you can see the cars in the front moving around in front of them there. We're back to the leaders. Earnhardt's pretty well settled down with a little bit of lead. Looks like Kenny Wallace is getting a lot of heat from Mike Waltrip.
Let's check on some positions. Irvin has come from 24th to 14th. Jeff Gordon, 16th up to 11th. And Jeff Burton has moved from 20th to 13th. But here's the story. Right up in front, it's a dandy. Coming around with 31 complete. Earnhardt in first. Has 2.5 car lengths over Kenny Wallace in second. Michael Waltrip right there. Remember, Michael Waltrip broke through on this racetrack. Won himself a race. Grand National competition in the Winter Series, March Series.
Little Waltrip just took a look to the outside. He couldn't get around up under him, so he stuck the nose outside and tried it, and he lost some ground, so he's going to find a different way to do it.
You are so brave. Little Waltrip. Guy 6'4", Little Waltrip.
Yeah, but I raced Darrell, and Mikey was little, and I can still call him Little Waltrip. I can handle him.
Take a look at Presley in the 59, working the outside. In turn number 2, Presley stuffed it out there and went double wide, and he made it through as he runs with Jarrett. You got to have a lot of confidence in the guy on the bottom when you do that in turn 2.
Ken, what you do a lot of times, the every driver's being the least bit cautious in turn 2. If you want to get brave and try it, that guy's rolled out of the throttle, you can step out there and try it, but sometimes it's pretty thin ice.
Presley tried to pass Nemechek, and you can see he dropped back a little bit. He tried to pass him on the outside, and that groove just doesn't quite work. These cars are so equal that you have to have an advantage to be able to pass.
He started in 13th position, and here's Presley working on Nemechek. He's having the best night of the season for that car 59. Great run.
What they have to do, Ken, one thing that really helps the car here is if you can roll through the corner real free. These little 6-cylinder motors, they're very fast. They'll run as fast as a V8 if you can keep the momentum up. They're having to really roll through. If you've got a guy in front of you that slows you down the least bit, then the motor doesn't want to accelerate off the corner. So if somebody's holding you up, you've got to do whatever it takes to get on around them, or they're really going to slow you down.
Asheville, North Carolina's Robert Presley has had a couple of Grand National victories, including one this year. But this one at Richmond would be an all-time dinger. He can pull off this and get to the front, continuing to work on Nemechek in the 87. And Nemechek taking that high line, the Florida campaigner, who started out in sports cars. He faded up just a bit high. Let's see if Presley can do more with it. Meanwhile, Jarrett playing that patient game his dad used to play, waiting his time out with now 37 laps in the book.
When you talk again about waiting out, we saw one thing earlier that we mentioned at the top of the show that they brought a little bit softer compound here for night racing. I don't think anyone really knows what kind of tire wear. There's somewhere down the road they're going to have to think about taking care of those tires to finish on.
Now look at Jarrett in the 32, having that grand year, getting ready to move on to a new team in his Winston Cup campaign next year. Joe Gibbs of the Washington Redskins, who is so excited about bringing a team into NASCAR racing. Here is Dale Jarrett in the 32. Again tonight, he could be a very strong factor when this is over. He seems to have learned all the right things to do on any size track after his victory at Michigan.
Ken, there's nothing that boosts a guy's morale and confidence any more than winning. I walked down Top Gun there on top of the world. The Wood brothers, I went by and saw those guys this afternoon, and after the victory up there, they're all ready to go. Dale has always been a factor in these Busch Grand National races. He's won several of them, and he's got a good car right now.
As Darrell Walter moves up on the outside, Neil makes a good point. The night racing format here is similar to that at Bristol, Tennessee. The drivers do not practice or qualify under the lights. They do it all in the daytime. That's why Todd Bodine was looking to have his windshield covered, and why there's such a question about tire wear and chassis setup. This is their first run at night, the actual race, and that makes things a little different.
Looking further back at the 17 and the 97, you're in 17th position back there. That is Waltrip having his own battle with Morgan Shepherd. But again, the guy on the move is Gant. Gant has gone around Waltrip. Gant's gone around a lot of cats. He was way out of the back of this field. He's on a roll. He's up into 15th position. Gant in the number 7, beginning to look strong again. What a year this guy's having. Oldest active driver winning in Winston Cup racing. Gets out here with this Whitaker car, and he's having a dandy night.
Well, you might say the oldest, but he's certainly one of the strongest. That guy is stout. He's capable of driving race cars. He wore him out, as he said at Darlington. He looked like the freshest guy after it was.
Caution out. Yellow is down. Caution down on the track, and that gets us into our third caution, our third official caution of the night. Yellow out. Track looks relatively clear out there, Debbie. Drive shaft falling out. Drive shaft is out. Lap 43 of the Autolite Platinum 200 coming to you live from Richmond International Raceway with the present time. The story up in front is the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt. He's got him covered for the moment. Back with more in just a moment. Well, that drive shaft, miraculously, its magic has turned itself into a bumper that came off Steve Grissom's car and brought out this caution, which we're still under at lap number 43. And it looks like it was the break of the night for Wallace, for Kenny Wallace, who's back on pit road another time. He drifted up real high in turn 4 on that last green flag lap, and that probably is a big blessing. Let's go down to Dick Bergen, who is in the 36 pits.
Well, no big blessing for Kenny Wallace. He apparently has hit the drive shaft. Steve Bird, the crew chief, said there's no problem on the car, but don't you believe it. These guys are all underneath. What they're working on right now is the anti-roll bar. They've got the kinds of wrenches underneath there that you'd be working on that particular portion of the car. If that thing is bent, if it's bound, if it's not exactly free and right, he's got problems. And he does have problems with the anti-roll bar. The arm is hanging down. Kenny Wallace with a significant suspension problem here on pit road.
And about to go a lap down. He just barely gets out. He's going to clear and stay in the lead lap. And as they rolled around to get ready to go, Dale Earnhardt just pulled up and gave a little love pat to the pace car.
Yeah, Dale was beating on the pace car, but also the thing with Kenny Wallace, his car looked like it had been getting a little bit looser and a little bit looser, and with that sway bar loose, it's going to have that characteristic.
So Wallace is going to pit again. Even though we're going to green, he has to bring it on in, which means it's pretty much like he's going to go a lap down. On the restart, Earnhardt will be first. Michael Waltrip in second. Joe Nemechek is third. Looking further back, Robert Presley in fourth. Dale Jarrett is fifth. Bobby Labonte lies sixth. Ernie Irvin is in seventh. Todd Bodine in eighth. Ward Burton is ninth. That's Jeff Burton out there in 10th. And Jeff Gordon is running 11th with Tracy Leslie 12th as the green comes on at lap 48. Back under green at lap 48.
There are three abreast down in turn 1.
A little bit further back in the field from the 25 car as it continues to wind its way back through the field after spinning earlier. Currently 19th. That's Jimmy Hensley. Back up with the leaders. Here you see Earnhardt in first. Now the yellow car, Michael Waltrip in second. The white car, Nemechek in third. Dale Jarrett to fourth. And Presley falls back one spot into fifth.
Again, there's been a lot of development put into this V6 motor. We heard earlier in the show that our guys were telling us that was one of Richard Childress's V6 motors in there built in their shop. Most of these cars run Buick V6s. That is one of the few V6 Chevrolet motors. So the thing looked like they're really getting it sorted out.
Take a look down here, Neil, as Nemechek stays right up in there. Still looking for that first Grand National victory in car number 87 and under tremendous pressure from number 32, Dale Jarrett. Are there any drivers that give you a lot of advice on your driving out there, Joe?
I think the most help I get is from Dale Earnhardt. You know, he kind of coaches me a little bit, and he helps me out and tells me things I'm doing wrong and maybe where I can improve, and I think he helps me out the most.
He needs some help right here as Dale Jarrett continues to work. That Kenny Wallace pit stop took 36 and 6/10 seconds. He has lost 3 laps, and Kenny Wallace in that point battle is now running 29th on the field.
And you know, in 6th place is Bobby Labonte, and Bobby just kind of takes his time. He's always there at the end of the race if that car holds together. He doesn't need to be flashy. He doesn't need to lead. He likes to lead the last lap.
So back to 29th goes Wallace. There you see the front 6. Earnhardt in front, and there's Michael Waltrip right there, and now in third, and closing comes Dale Jarrett.
Dale Jarrett is such a hot driver right now, Ken. I talked to him earlier, and he just said things kind of snowball for you. You start winning, the team double checks, triple checks those bolts, and they're really running well.
Well, Kenny Wallace has really got his work cut out for him this evening. He lost one of those laps because he was penalized for speeding down pit road. Worse, the only way they could fix that car so he could run at all was they unhooked the anti-roll bar in front. That thing will be a sled. It will not handle at all for the rest of the evening. He's going to wind up with some blistered hands if my bet is right.
Dick Bergen, you're right. When they take that sway bar off, it actually takes bite away from the race car. The only alternative they have now is crank a lot of bite in the car to compensate for it, but you can never get it back without that's a vital piece of that car to be off.
There you see Harry Gant closing in on Hensley. That's Hensley and Gant back there, 15th and 16th on the field, trying to cut their way back through. Jimmy Hensley giving us these pictures as Harry Gant tries him on the outside. Gant in the 7, goes up on the high side and tries to move around. Going to get himself one. Harry Gant is on the charge as he works his way through the field.
Ken will be okay as long as Harry doesn't jump us in his car not running. When he starts making these moves, he starts saying, well, my old car's not running. He's fixing to come to the front.
Take a look at this. That is Presley on the inside and Nemechek on the outside. And we've got one car in the wall.
It's Todd Bodine, number 34 car.
Todd Bodine socks the wall. It's in the second turn. This is lap number 57. Caution is out on the leaders. And as they come to the line, Joe Nemechek is just in front of Presley for that fourth position. So Todd Bodine in car number 34 spins, bumps that second turn wall, and that has been where the altercations have been taking place all night that have brought out the cautions.
Ken, there was a little bit of fluid down there prior to where the car was sitting. I don't know if he hit the wall and then knocked the radiator, the oil tank out of it, but it looked like there was liquid before he stopped, so he might have had motor trouble.
Well, Todd Bodine third last week up there at Darlington, finishing right behind those Winston Cup runners when Earnhardt came home first, and the hungry Jack Buick takes the wall pretty hard.
Here he goes. This is after he gets in again. We can see it looked like a little oil or something on the track before he got the car turned around. He must have had a problem with the engine. It looks like oil coming out the thing, and then he's backed it up in the wall.
Todd Bodine, who came into this race 7th in points, he will be a victim out here tonight. Safety crews for Todd Bodine on the track. We'll be back with more from Richmond International Raceway in a moment. Todd Bodine climbed out of car number 34. Appears to be okay. They're going to take him in for a routine checkup. But he really thumped the wall in turn number 2. We're 61 laps down to the 200 to be run here in the Autolite Platinum 200. Upcoming, the Grand National ranks move on to the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware. That's September the 14th, and then October the 5th. Charlotte, North Carolina is where the action is, and that's always a dandy. Then they move to Loudon, New Hampshire, that beautiful new mile track that Bob Baer has created near Concord, New Hampshire, near Manchester, New Hampshire. Then it's Rockingham, the Rock itself, North Carolina Motor Speedway, and October the 27th at Clay Earl's beautiful Martinsville, Virginia half mile.
Well, they clean up from Todd Bodine's accident. That takes the 7th place point man in the Busch ranks out of the race. Bodine with 1 victory and 6 top 5 finishes as cleanup continues. And going back to the alleged drive shaft, yes, Ken, there was a drive shaft, and it came out of Bobby Dodder's 08 car, and the drive shaft actually sheared in half. Now, this is made of pretty substantial steel. You can imagine it takes quite a bit of torque to wrap one of these up. The cars behind Pit Wally are trying to make repairs, so even though Steve Grissom did lose a bumper, this is what brought out the caution.
Well, but what we couldn't figure out is how he pedaled that thing around for 2 laps. They were at least 2 laps before they came in, weren't they, Neil?
Yeah, he must have had a real big rubber band in that thing, because he made 2 laps after that thing fell out.
We're lonely for Chris Economaki. Let's see what he's doing.
Well, I'm down here at Dale Earnhardt's pit with 63 laps down. His crew chief, Tony Erie, says he's not going to bring him in. Dale has been complaining about a car that's pushing the front end. It's not set up to his satisfaction, but he's leading the race. Now, he's got enough gas if he would stop now to go all the way, but he's passing up this opportunity, and that's a little bit of a gamble. Back to you, Ken.
We're watching Tommy Ellis make a pit stop right here. The other guy that is really trucking out here tonight, who started in 24th position, is Ernie Irvin. All of a sudden, that yellow and white car number 10 finds itself in 7th position. So that's not half bad. He's really closing up on those guys. We saw him run up at Loudon, New Hampshire earlier this year, put on a tremendous show. He fought for 60 laps, wheel to wheel with Michael Walton. It's going to get interesting here as we go back to green very shortly. Track is just about clear. I think maybe 3 more laps and we'll have it down. 3/4 mile track is where the Autolite Platinum 200 is being run tonight. Richmond International Raceway. It looks like a tremendous crowd for Grand National competition here at one of the favored tracks in NASCAR competition.
From the looks of that car on the hook, Ken, it's a good thing we took time to go up through the starting field and show everybody what they look like before they start, because at a place like this, when you bend them up, you wrap them up in
Hey, it's Friday night, Saturday night. You know how it is when you have night races. Your kid's running all the time, Neil.
Yeah, and I'm putting a lot of fenders on that thing. I shouldn't say that. He's won the championship. He's been running real good lately. I'm looking for a full moon.
Your kid won the championship?
Yeah, he won, set a new track record at Birmingham Friday night, new track record at Montgomery, won both championships. So I'm ready for him to wind down, and we'll play a little golf and go fishing the rest of the week.
9 winners in the last 9 races in Grand National competition. That's some kind of competition. Watkins Glen, it was Terry Labonte who just did such a great job on that 2-mile track. Then Ricky Craven from the NASCAR North Circuit. The Prescott car won at Oxford, Maine. Kenny Wallace in that outstanding run at Loudon earlier. Looking further down, Bristol, the win for Dale Jarrett. Of course, he followed that right up with that great, or just before that Michigan victory. Jimmy Hensley scored at Rougemont. Bobby Labonte's had one. Bobby Labonte right now can get a big leg up with the 6 races to go on the season as he lies in 6th position on the restart. It'll be Earnhardt first, Michael Waltrip in 2nd, Dale Jarrett is 3rd in the back straightaway, Joe Nemechek out there in 4th, Robert Presley 5th, then Bobby Labonte 6th, Ernie Irvan in 7th, Jeff Burton is 8th. As you look down from the high side, the real high side, on this beautiful racetrack. Here's Dick Bergen.
Well, I'm with Brett Bodine. You just went in and saw your brother. How's he doing?
Well, Dick, it looks like he hurt his elbow and his left side of the ribs. You know, he went in driver's side, slapped the wall. You know, as a driver, that's about the worst hit you can take, something sideways. Knocked the wind out of him a little bit, and he's complaining about a little bit of rib pain, and definitely banged his elbow pretty hard.
So he's complaining, so he's not too bad then.
Right. You know, that's the way it goes. If you're complaining, you're in pretty good shape. You know, we hated for him. He was running pretty good, and the Hungry Jack Buick was running real well, but just got a little loose getting into one, and at this racetrack, it's not very forgiving. If you get a little high, you're up in the fence.
And you're also in the infield care center, and that's where he is right now. He's got good attention being paid to him.
Completing the 67th lap this time by. We may get a take 1 and send him off here. This time, let's see what happens. Take a look at that facility. That's just such a beautiful racetrack.
Ken, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. We were just talking about the backbone of this sport is Friday and Saturday night racing, and nothing any better for these guys to be able to come to a facility like this and showcase what they can do on national TV with the kind of crowds they have in a place like this. This is what all of these Friday and Saturday night racers all over the country work for, is to be able to come to a place like this and show the guys what they can do.
26 cars are on the lead lap. That shows you what they can do. 26 cars remaining up on that front point as we get ready to go racing once again. Light is still on the pace car.
I'm wondering, Neil Bonnet, you know, as you were saying, coming out of turn 2, it's such a tricky corner. We got all that speedy dry up there. Is it going to make it trickier?
Debbie, I was just looking. It's going to keep their hands full. They're going to have to wear that out of the way, then they'll be ready to go.
Neil, earlier Chris touched on some of the differences and similarities between these and the Winston Cup cars. Yes, they weigh 300 pounds less. Also, the wheelbase is 7 inches shorter. And that V6 with 75% less cylinders, or 25% less cylinders, has 20% less moving parts. Makes a lot of power. These could be quicker than the Winston Cup cars. But one big difference under the skin. All the Winston Cup Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buicks, and Chevys use a derivative of the Chevy small block V8 engine. In this series, most of the V6s in the GM cars are Buicks. Earnhardt, a couple of the other cars run Chevys, but most of the rest run Buicks, from Carl Wegner, Jim Ruggles, Ron Hunter, Hones and Eanes, and other engine builders. The Fords, of course, run Fords. What else?
And it begs the question, what happens with Buick's cutback next year to the Buick program in Grand National competition? We know what's going to happen in the Winston Cup. Ready to go green this time. Field coming down with Earnhardt up in front. Michael Waltrip tucked right there in second spot. You see on the outside Kenny Wallace a lap down. 26 cars in the lead lap as they streak across the line. Lap 69 is where we're at as the green flag is unfurled once again. And Earnhardt draws away. Here comes Michael Waltrip down to the bottom.
Bobby Labonte and Ernie Irvan got a good jump on the 59 car. He's back there in 6th position. But he got it back.
The 10 and 44 running wheel to wheel down into the corner. There they come. And on the inside, the 10 car is making the move. It's Ernie Irvan picking it up and getting under Bobby Labonte, and right with him comes number 99, Jeff Burton. Jeff Burton's a good little racer. Look at Nemechek work on Wallace and moving out of the racing groove.
Ken, that car is doing exactly what they do without a front sway bar. In the middle of the corner out, off the corners where that sway bar tightens it up, and he's certainly got his hands full to try to just keep the car in control off the corner.
He drives it in one way, then the car takes over and pitches it out another. Here's the 59. That's Presley closing in on Nemechek, and right behind them comes Ernie Irvin. Ernie Irvin, who made that big apology on his driving style down at Talladega, and it seemed like it cost him at Talladega. He started to drive conservatively, got caught up in a big crash further back in the field with Buddy Baker. Tonight, he's got his foot in it. He's come from 24th, currently up into 6th. Battle for that lead goes like this. Earnhardt first, Waltrip second, Dale Jarrett's in third. 75 lap mark, 2 laps away. The inside opens up, and there's Dale Jarrett knocking on the door again.
Again, these cars that Dale Earnhardt and Mike Waltrip have are the new type cars that are supposed to run a little bit tighter. They're both running higher on the racetrack. Dale Jarrett seems to be able to run a little bit lower. We'll just have to see if he's able to stay down there and get under these guys and up off the corner ahead of them.
Well, Dale Earnhardt took a rebuilt car and won the Grand National race in Darlington. Here he is, thrusting that number 3 right up into the lead, and number 30 staying right with him. Michael Waltrip hasn't missed a beat in this one. Here's Dale Jarrett looking a little higher through turns 3 and 4.
That car of Mike Waltrip was brand new. As Mike Joy mentioned earlier, it came off of the racetrack, off the trailer on the racetrack. The car probably doesn't have 100 laps on it right now from the time it was built.
It's hard to give up this lead battle out here and show anything else because they're keeping Earnhardt under such pressure. And I don't think he's out there fishing. I don't think he's toying with them. That's about as good as he can make it go around. And look at this lap from the high side.
Tony Urey, Earnhardt's crew chief, they're concerned about a tight race car. They're going to have to work on it before the night's over.
The lights here, as we said earlier, have been set up just for tonight's race. Harry Gant, number 7, and Davey Allison, at number 28, say the lights are in their eyes coming off of turn 4, blinding them momentarily. And for the race tomorrow night, they're going to have to tape up their windshield and make some changes.
75 laps down, 125 to go. Now 70 moving along here, 77 down, 123 to go. And here is Waltrip once again. Seems to get that car to work just a little bit better, but he hasn't got it to pull it off the corner. Let's see if he does it this time. 63 is slowing down.
I think 63's been out there, Ken, just going slow. They repaired the car, and he's back out there. He's probably trying to get points. He's keeping the car low to try to stay out of the way.
Down to the back straightaway. Here's Michael Waltrip diving right in there again. Michael Waltrip on that yellow number 30 down to the bottom.
You know, I said at the top of the show, they've done a lot of work on that little V6 Chevrolet motor in the number 3 car. Michael seems to be able to put the move on him chassis-wise, and the motor seems to be real strong in Dale's car right now.
And Jarrett up on the outside makes the move. Dale Jarrett hustles into second spot.
He seems to have the best handling car of the 3. I don't know where he's going to be at motor-wise when he tackles this.
Meanwhile, backing up, Bobby Labonte is fading. He's dropped back to 18th position. Remember, he was running up there, 6th on the field. Now there's something amiss on 44.
Is there something amiss, or when the guy that you're battling for the points is 3 laps down, you make sure you stay in the lead lap and finish and run hard at the end? Labonte is notorious for coming on at the end of the race. We'll just have to see what happens.
Look at this lead. 80 laps, 81 laps now complete as they cross the stripe. Dale Jarrett looking for another one, and he shoves Earnhardt out of the way. Here comes Waltrip up for second spot. Presley closing for third in the 59.
He's kind of getting freight trained there. Earnhardt's staying up a little high, and I think Presley's going to get by him too.
I think as good as Dale Jarrett's car was running compared to the other 2, Dale will be able to put a little bit of distance on these guys. Michael's car and Earnhardt's car both are real pushy, so these other 2 should be able to work on it.
Well, Dale Jarrett had 3 Grand National victories thus far this season. He'd be the first to score 4 if he can pull it off. He's tied with some other pretty well-known names like Jimmy Hensley and Earnhardt and Bound at 3.
Dale Jarrett, when he was racing Busch Grand National full-time, only won 2 races in a season. So this year, being a Winston Cup racer, he's won 3 Busch Grand National races.
What makes Dale Jarrett's effort so impressive is not just that he's won 3 races, Ken, it's his winning percentage. He's only entered 12 Busch Grand National contests this year. Well, if you could run and win 25% of your races in any league, to be just a superstar effort, and that's what he's done this season.
Thank you, Mike. Battle for the lead. Jarrett versus Waltrip. Earnhardt looking up from under as Presley is also scooted by and taken third. Earnhardt falling to fourth.
You know,
There you see the flagman at work here. We're going to miss one flagger that for 25 years was involved in NASCAR as an assistant, as a regular, called everybody, biggest name racer or the newest mechanic. My hero. He was our hero, Harold Kinder, who passed away this week in Charlotte, North Carolina. With 91 of 200 laps complete, this is Dale Jarrett's race. He's out in front. Michael Waltrip remains in second. Robert Presley's having a super night as he maintains third. Dale Earnhardt has fallen from first to fourth over the past 10 laps, and Ernie Irvin has fought his way out of the rear of the field to be running in fifth. 3/4 mile track, the Autolite Platinum 200, our feature attraction this evening. And there's the interval between first and second. Not much of an interval at all, Debbie Bound, as they continue to make war.
No, it's not. You know, I'm really impressed with Robert Presley. He's about the same distance behind as Waltrip is from Jarrett, and he's coming on strong. He's staying right up there with them.
There you see that 59 right behind the 30 car as they make war in the top 3 spots at the present time. There are the 2 leaders. And there's the 59 of Presley maintaining third at turn 3. Moving in on the halfway mark. Looking a little further back in the field here, here's the 96. That's Tom Peck on the outside, and Harry Gant in the 7th. Harry Gant has been trying to get himself straightened around and make a real run. That is the battle that's taking place for 11th spot. The 99 is Burton. He's in the 10th spot, and Peck in the 96, and Gant in the 7 as they continue to come up through traffic.
Gant just got trapped behind a slower car. Tom Peck in the 96 car and Harry have been running side by side, lap after lap.
Debbie, Harry had worked about 5 laps to get that close, and the minute he thought he had him, they ran up on a lap car, and it looks like it's going to happen again right here as we're talking about it. You work yourself to death, and all of a sudden there's like a pink there, and there's nowhere to go.
We've had enough cautions that they haven't done a lot of lapping on the racetrack, and so now they're running enough green flag laps that they're doing some lapping, and that's happening.
So for the moment, that's 10th, 11th, and 12th, and further back is the 44, now an 18th. Now they show 22nd. Let's go to Dick Bergen for more on this story.
And I'm going to go for the guy who really knows the story, Bob Labonte Sr. Why are you guys dropping so far back? What's wrong?
Well, you know, the Pedro's Overview is falling back a little bit right now, but when we were here earlier, you know, 100 laps on tires that were wore down to the court. He's been saying for 20 laps he needs right-side tires, but can't afford to pit right now.
Okay, you're going to wait for a caution flag, try to get some tires on right now. In fact, they got a crew member on the wall who looks like he'd love to go over, even though there isn't even a car here. Tires, the problem on the 44.
And Davey Allison is still having his problems tonight. Remember the Alabama gang not having much fun. Look at this struggle. That's the 97 car, Morgan Shepherd, who's been having some problems this year, trying to get it sorted out as he continues to fight with Joe Nemechek. That's the 6th spot.
Morgan's making a good move, as we were talking about earlier. There's not a lot of those Ford products with the V6 engines in it, and Morgan's got one that seems to be working very well tonight.
Halfway in the Autolite Platinum 200 from Richmond International Raceway.
And Ken, when you say halfway, I'm sure these drivers are glad to see that, because just as Dick Bergen was talking about, they were concerned, could they make it on tires? They're allowed one tires per wheel, so they were concerned. Let's go down to Chris Economacky.
I'm in Dale Earnhardt's pit. He's been radio with his crew that his car needs an adjustment. He wants them to take a little bite out of it. And the wrench in this man's hip pocket will do just that when he stops. That will make the car even faster. He's dropped now to 4th place. With a little twist of this wrench, the car should be back where it belongs. Back to you.
Now they're getting ready to be lapping cars out here that could be of consequence. One of those cars of consequence is Labonte's number 44. He's within 6 seconds of being taken down by the leader, Jarrett, in the Nestle Crunch car. There's the Penrose, number 44. And he would really like a caution flag right about now.
Ken, he's in a position right now when the points battle, we've talked about that over and over tonight. He can't afford right now to be concerned about a tire and blow a tire and knock the wall down and go from having a 3-lap lead over his closest rival. So he's going to have to be extra cautious, even if it requires him to go 1 down instead of 3 or hit the wall.
Isn't Dale Earnhardt probably in a kind of an uncomfortable position, too? He's been out there pushing. He's got to be worried a little bit about that right front tire blowing. It's probably why he's backed off the pace a little.
Take a look at the interval here between the 44 and the 32. About there, there's the 75. It's about 5.5 seconds to where Dale Jarrett runs, and he is chasing down Tommy Ellis and just cutting through the field here with Michael Waltrip in the vanguard of this race.
Tommy Ellis qualified very well to be getting lapped this early.
He's had some problems earlier on. I'm not sure what the situation is on Tommy Ellis's car, but it's been backing up all evening. 106 laps complete this time by. The race record is a 99-mile-an-hour average, and with 4 cautions already thrown, there's no shot at that tonight. It will be slower.
I want to pose a question to Neil. I know that he spent years driving for the Wood brothers, running a few races on the circuit, much as Dale Jarrett is doing in this series, and he's also run for the championship. Neil, in that position, do you kind of envy a guy like Jarrett or Earnhardt who can come in here and run just the race, not have to worry about points and worry about his position or keeping the car under him, because if he wads this one up or if it breaks, he just loads it up and comes back next time?
Mike Joy, that is exactly right. You heard these guys before the race that we're going to have fun. We're out here to have a good time. They could have went home, went to the motel, and watched this thing on TV, but they run this race, and they don't have any concern for points. The reason they're out there to win and have a good time, and they can pretty well turn their motors harder and abuse the cars more. If they fall out, they don't have near as much to lose as the Busch guys right now.
You know, there's some car owners, Neil, that look at it in a different light. They don't want their Winston Cup drivers out here running in a race where they think they could possibly get hurt or do anything detrimental to their career day on
the next one around.
Right.
All right, there you see first and second spot. It's still a battle between Dale Jarrett and Michael Waltrip in the Autolite Platinum 200.
A little cool here at Richmond. Sweater weather for the fans, but good, cool racing weather for these V6 engines. Let's see how our top Busch point runners are doing. Bobby Labonte just went a lap down on the 44 car. Kenny Wallace is 3 laps off the pace. Jimmy Hensley spun earlier, but has recovered. Chuck Bound has had a tough night. He's laps in arrears. And Joe Nemechek, 5th in the points. He's running up in the top 10. Ken Squire?
Well, that leaderboard is really interesting because Bobby Labonte has just gone a lap down to both Dale Jarrett in the 32 and the yellow car. As you watch them here, first and second have just lapped Bobby Labonte, leaving 16 cars in that lead lap.
Again, that shot is unique right there. Somebody goes to a racetrack and they want to learn how to drive around a racetrack. If you'll look, I always tell people it's painted for you on the racetrack. When you go out there, if you'll follow the painted groove, if you'll watch the leaders come in here, watch the black mark entering the corner right here. It's like somebody went out there and drew you a line where to follow. The track's 50-something foot wide. There's 8 foot that's usable, and that's the easiest way to see it right there.
19 cars in that lead lap, including Jimmy Hensley's car, which continues to percolate after spinning early in the going. He had a wild ride. He's back up to 14th, and he's still in that lead lap. Well, if we go the rest of the distance, folks, those guys up in front, if we stay green the rest of the distance, those guys up in front are going to have a handful of trouble.
They've got to stop for fuel. They're going to be tough on tires, making it the rest of the way. On that first caution, or about the 50s, 40 and 50 laps, some of them hit it for fuel, and they're going to make a good shape.
Morgan was in. Who else was in back there?
Darren Walter was in.
Davey Allison maybe stopped.
Well, Davey's gone a lap down, has he not? He's stripped off here, fallen back one. Incidentally, the leaderboard now shows that we've had 7 lead changes among 4 drivers in this race. For the last 2 laps, it's been all Dale Jarrett. Labonte is back to 20th now. A big backup for him, and you heard the problem with the program reporting on the Labonte situation. Tires the issue there.
You know, somebody that's really strong, too, is Ward Burton. He's running in 7th place in the Busch regulars up there. He's had a couple strong runs in the last few races.
In fact, he's just in front of Joe Nemechek, who is in 8th, and Harry Gant has pulled himself into 9th. Maintaining 10th, Tracy Leslie. 19 cars again in the lead lap.
The one that's really leading the lead lap is number 32. He's running very strong.
There's that 27 car of Ward Burton being shown in 7th position, right behind Ernie Irvin. Ward Burton having a very good night on car 27.
We're getting to the point now, Ken, if these guys, if somebody has a severe push or real loose condition, we're getting to the point in the race now that they could have a tire problem if they don't get in and correct it. I'm sure a lot of these guys are hoping for a caution and not be their own because they've got to get those tires off and get some new ones on.
And with Labonte in 20th and Wallace in 26th, Labonte gained 18 points on Wallace in the standings. Lead would go up to 19.
Big lead for all the money they're talking about.
Yep. And 6 races to go in the series. Leaders, 32 Jarrett, 30 Walter. Interval, about 9 car lengths. Nice to have you with us tonight. Hope you're enjoying the action as we're speaking to you from Richmond International Raceway. Debbie Bound along and Neil Bonnet over here, the Catfish Farmer. Pretty good race, folks.
Yeah, they're doing a good job tonight. I tell you, the cars run good in this cool weather, and they're really stringing them out.
And we still have, as we mentioned, 19 cars running up in that lead lap. Debbie, do you worry about Chuck when you see him out there floating around with a car that's busted real good?
Well, I know this Hensley crew. They do a good job, and I know they try to keep them safe. And if they didn't feel they had the car, you know, put back together well enough, they wouldn't have him out there, and he wouldn't be out there.
Take a look at 4th place. There it is, Morgan Shepherd. Morgan has done an excellent job this evening in this car. He has picked himself up. And if we stay green, there's the guy. Put your money down on, folks. You've got a window that's still open. That 97's flying, and he's had that fuel stop that could carry him home.
And when you say he's doing a good job, you've got to consider there was 2 Ford V6 engines that started this race, and that's fighting some pretty good odds, and he's right there with him.
And the odds are for Morgan. He hasn't finished, I think, but 1 race this year. The odds are for him to finish.
Of course, he's changing rides next year in the Winston Cup Series. He gets to go with the Wood Brothers next year. That's a great break for Morgan, isn't it?
It sure is. I tell you what, just like we were talking about Dale Jarrett being on the half and winning, the Woods are in the same position. They're on top of the Those guys get together. We'll just have to see what happens.
Here's that leader, Dale Jarrett, as he continues to cut his own swath around this track, and he may be getting ready to pit. Word is that 32 has been told. Word is out to him. Got the tires up on the wall, and I don't think they're throwing a dummy. I think this is for real.
Yeah, and it's something that we really have to watch here, the enforcement of pit road speed limit. We've already seen earlier in this race it cost someone, and NASCAR is really on top of what happens on pit road, and they're going to have to be careful how they come through there, or you could be leading this race and go back a lap down.
Well, let's talk about exactly what the parameters are for coming on pit road for a moment.
They give you a designated speed limit, and on the second caution lap, we saw the cars come down pit road and established by the tachometer what they were going to run. If they come in too hot, they'll hold them for 15 seconds. 15 seconds around here get you a lap down by the time you get started, get going.
Jeff Gordon's number 1 came in very slowly. He was running 11. Now look at Gant in the number 7 making his run. Harry Gant is up there fighting with Dale Earnhardt in the 3 car. Here comes the 10 as well. And that Harry Gant thing is flying. That would be for 6th position, I believe. And here's the 32 car. Slowing, getting it woed, and coming on pit road. Let's go to Chris Economac.
Well, they've been ready for several laps. Dale Jarrett comes in here, and everybody's got a job to do, and he's doing it well. Jarrett himself was very calm and quiet. Changed right side tires, but not left side tires. And he almost took a man with him as he went out, and that was a quick one. Now, look at the scoreboard and see where he winds up. Everybody's getting a round of applause here at the fine work of the crew.
14 and 1/10 seconds. seconds. Excellent job of that crew getting Jarrett back out. Michael Waltrip takes over in front. Robert Presley is in second. Morgan Shepherd is in third. And right now, pulling onto pit road is Green, one of those guys running for Rookie of the Year. We'll be in a moment. 133 laps are complete, and you're watching Morgan Shepherd in. Right side rubber going on car number 97. One of the two Fords in the race. For a moment, he had the lead. Harry Gant has pitted. The number 30 has come in. He's been on pit road. So who does it leave out here? For the moment, Dale Earnhardt is back in front. As they sort out the scoring, Earnhardt has yet to come in on this series of pit stops. And the number 3 has the advantage with 134 of 200 laps complete.
If you want to see the difference of what new tires do, right here, Michael Walter pitted early. Dale's coming in now, but they were running him down so fast he didn't have any choice. The others had new tires.
Dick Trickle had worked his way to 11, and he pitted. He's fallen back. Here's Chris Economaki waiting for the leader.
Well, Dale Earnhardt is in. He's getting right side tires and gas only. Now look at the work on the crew. 3, 4, 5, 6 men over the wall, and a 7th man hanging over. And that was another quick one as he scatters his crew pulling out.
They were trying to put bite in the right rear of the car. It didn't look like they got it out of there. I mean, excuse me, take bite out. They were too tight. I saw the guy trying to put the wrench in. I don't know if he got it turned enough rounds.
What do you think, Debbie?
Sometimes it's hard when they're really, fighting to be fast to get that wrench down there through the back glass and get a hold and get the bite out.
And also on a pit stop like that, you've got certain people to do certain things, and he had another job he had to perform first, and he got there late.
Radio message that Earnhardt gave his crew was that he wanted some fight taken out rather than put in. That was what he was been asking for the lap leading up to the pit stop. Back to you.
Chris, we're also told that Earnhardt wanted 4 tires, but Tony Uri and the crew felt they couldn't gamble stopping under green. The time it would take them to get 4 tires would put Dale a lap down. He won't be back in unless there's a caution.
17 takes over as the leader with this series of pit stops. Darrell Waltrip has himself the lead, and Jimmy Hensley in that car that spun in those first moments of the race when there was no caution. Jimmy Hensley now finds himself in second spot, and there's the interval flashing down the backstretch between the leader, Waltrip, and the Hensley car running in second spot. Looks like he's got him covered by almost half a lap out here now.
And now Hensley's coming down pit road.
That's the reason you didn't see him for a while. He was backing off to come on to pit road, and you're riding in the Oldsmobile with Jimmy Hensley down pit road. The Autolite Platinum 200 now has 142 of 200 laps complete. Here on Prime Network with Neil Bonnet, Debbie Bound topside, Chris Economaki, Dick Bergen down on pit road, Mike Joy in the Pontiac Pit Center, bringing you all the action. Here's Dick.
Hensley's on pit road. He's way up at the front end of the pits as he takes on 2 tires and a load of fuel. Most of the Winston Cup drivers are at the other end of pit road, the far end. So where Hensley is supposed to be an advantage, I don't know. Right now, he's got everybody passing him as he's on pit road here, taking on his fuel. He stalled the car, got it going again. Hensley's out with 2 tires and a load of fuel.
I tell you what, that little bit of hesitation they're leaving is critical on the racetrack. He's starting to look like he almost didn't have any gear, and then he shoved it and took off. So that's going to cost him a little bit also.
Waltrip for the moment with the field covered. Second spot by our figures would be Presley in the 59, followed by Dale Jarrett in 32. We'll see. There's the 59 and there's the 32.
That early stop by Darrell is really paying off. Who would have thought that one of these Busch races on a track this size would go 100 laps, without having a problem? He stopped early. It's been going green, and it's falling his way right now.
144 laps are complete.
I think that some of the teams have that strategy, Neil.
Oh, we got a car loose up in 4, and getting it back is Nemechek. He had the wind coming through the side door on that one. He had it turned all the way sideways, and he got it gathered back up, and he's back on his way.
He certainly swept all the dust off the corner in the wall up there.
I beg your pardon, Debbie.
He sure did. Some of the cars have that strategy to pit early. If they could make it the rest of the way on gas, come in for one side of the tires, and then, if it went green, they'd be in good shape.
You want to take a look at what happened to Joe Nemechek? Take a gander at this. This is coming up out of the hole. Off 3, into 4.
He gets it up there in the loose stuff, and the only thing he do now, right now, he's feathering that gas pedal, feeding the throttle to it. If you put the brakes on, slow down, you turn around. He did the right thing. He fed it right on off the corner and straightened it up. And this car was fixed to pass him, and he maintained a position on it.
Tommy Houston just brought number 6 back on pit road, as has Doddard in the 08. See, that's the kind of stuff that goes on all day. And look at him. He's up there trying to take a lap back on 17 Waltrip.
He must have found some new way around up there in the dust.
Right. That's the bonnet line, isn't it?
No, that right there is a matter. He just got him some new tires, and Darrell's got 100-something laps on his.
No, I mean up on the top side, and he was sideways coming out of 4. That's the bonnet line, isn't it?
Yeah, but I never straightened it out.
We'll be back with more. There's 150 laps complete, this time by in the Autolite Platinum 200 from Richmond International Raceway. We've got a spin coming out of turn number 2, but it is not bringing out any kind of a flag. Car number 9 getting loose up in that second turn area. Troy Beebe out of Modesto, California. Watch again at what happened to him out there.
Gets the car loose right where we've been talking about having a problem, and when it starts running, he's already got the car all bent up. There's nothing to do with it.
Now the yellow is out. Caution is coming out. That's caution number 5 this evening. You've already had 25 laps under caution. No chance of a speed record like what we got out of Rick Mass here 1 year ago. Here's Troy Beebe coming in. And the Taco Bell doesn't feel too well.
I'm going to predict we have a pit stop or two. Would that be real smart?
Let's see what happens here. Here's
Too bad. Oh,
go ahead.
It's too bad for Davey Allison. He just made a pit stop under green just about 2 laps before this happened.
Let's see what Waltrip gambles on. He has the advantage now, and the laps are trickling away. 155 are shown complete. Waltrip's going to take this opportunity, as is Presley in the 59. And Jarrett. What a shootout we're going to have for the finish on this one. Let's go to Chris Economax.
Darrell Waltrip is in. He's going to get 4 tires and fuel, and it looked for a while like he may have been trying to go the distance on that original 22 gallons of fuel. They weren't ready for a pit stop at all until the yellow came out. Okay, down pit road to Dick Bergman.
Boy, we got an interesting pit stop going down here with Robert Presley, Chris. One of the guys that's helping a lot. In fact, a guy that's ready to roll tires, none other than Jimmy Spencer. He's been working the tire situation all night for Presley. They just put 2 new ones on the right side. Now they're going to put 2 new ones on the left side. So Presley, 4 fresh tires to make a run at this thing at the end of the race. He's won run race this year. He want this one to be the biggest win in his career. Presley still in the pits. Ricky Pearson directs the crew there. About ready. Jarrett has gone by. The 30 of Waltrip has gone by. He's got a tire right in front of him. Can he make it out? Presley makes it out, and he's back on the speedway.
Pulls around Grissom, and as he comes out, he had been shown in the lead just as they all ducked on pit road, and everybody's taking this opportunity with this caution out for the spin up in turn number 2 by Troy Beebe. Change those tires and get ready for this run to the wire.
Can we talk to the top of the evening about this vaunted 1-point battle for the lead between Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace? To update the folks, Kenny Wallace is about 3 laps down. Bobby is a lap down, and we may be heading for only the 3rd time all season in 26 races that neither of the 2-point leaders finishes in the top 10.
Interesting statistic, huh?
Yeah, you know, you think season in, season out, all the races, these guys, when one guy had a bad night, the other one go ahead and make a big gain. It seems like when they have good nights, they're right there together. Bad nights, they both have a problem. So it's going to be hard to spread them apart.
From the Pennzoil area platform, a view of this 3/4-mile track where the Autolite Platinum 200 is getting straightened out for a finish tonight. We had 19 cars in our last report on the lead lap. We probably are at 18 at this point. Robert Presley, one of the major players. Harry Gant is going to take over as the leader as we get down to the finish. Robert Presley, who finished 7th here a year ago, is being shown in 2nd spot. There you see from that platform, that aerial platform, the view into the garage area where all the cars are kept. And here's Jimmy Hensley's car. And Jimmy has made a great comeback in this race. He's still shown in the lead lap and now in 14th position.
With that speed he had earlier, he's lucky to still be running where he did. He got it straightened out, and they worked on the car, and he can move up. This car has been fast enough to move up on his restart with fresh tires.
6 races left to go in the series this year, Debbie. Chuck has moved from 10th back in June up into 4th. This is a bad night for him. I mean, really, what do you think the chances are from here on for you folks in your effort to defend your national title?
And don't bet on Gann, or I'm going to tell them.
Yeah.
Well, the chances are slim, but it's not an impossibility. You never know what can happen. Kenny Wallace lost 173 points in a 9-race span. You just, don't know what can happen. We're still trying. An interesting thing about Jimmy Hensley, he has finished second 3 times in the Busch Grand National point standings. He says, I don't care if I finish 4th or 5th. Second means nothing. If it's not first, I don't care what it is.
Interesting. You think this, you hear a lot of griping about the point system. How do you feel about this point system?
I think it's a pretty fair point system. I'd rather see them do a little more like they do Winston Cup and have like maybe extra points for leading, bonus points. But I think it's a pretty fair system.
Ward Burton is being shown as the leader. Ward Burton is going to take over in first place with a lap to go. Ward started out the night in 12th spot on the South Boston, Virginia campaigner in that Smithfield Buick. Has that number 27 right up there in front. Harry Gantz, number 7, is running in second spot. Waltrip is in third. We've completed 161 laps. With 39 to go, 38 when they get green. It's going to get real interesting real quick.
Some real fast cars sitting in the front now. They sorted themselves out. Gann started way back there. He seemed to be coming on all the time. Morgan was up there. We're going to have to see right now who's really got the power.
Tell you who has it off the line is Ward Burton in the 27. He squirts out there by about 5 car lengths going into the first turn. But here comes Harry right back on him. That green and white camera from this great aerial platform shot shows Gant going to the inside. Gant making the move down the back straightaway, going into 3. Handsome Harry's on the inside. The Bandit taking over out in front. Coming down by, here's Waltrip coming for second place. And Morgan Shepherd is right in there.
37 laps to go. These guys aren't going to play the rest of the way. They're going to be hustling.
The smell of roses is in the air, and Harry Gant got a good sniff as he got off that start and dove up Burton to take the lead. Here comes Waltrip up into second. Morgan Shepherd now to third. Coming to fourth is Michael Waltrip. Up to fifth moves Dale Jarrett, and Presley is coming through. They have Burton pinned on the outside, and they're putting him away for the lead. Oh, Morgan Shepherd slowing down. Out of turn number 2. Off the pace, Morgan Shepherd falling back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions. Gathers it back up on the outside. But something seems amiss. Coming out of 2, dropping 4 spots. Now he's back on the pace again, is Morgan Shepherd. I think he just had a problem with turn 2.
I think he got in there a little hot, got the car shoving out to the racetrack, and he had to roll out of the throttle to knock the wall down.
But look at that number 59 going around the 32. Presley works the outside of turn 2 better than anyone here tonight. What a run by that Alliance car.
And that was Dale Jarrett. He went around on the outside. The guy's been leading all night long.
You can trust him. Here is Presley in the 59 making a move that's carried him to 4th. Here he comes to the bottom of the racetrack working on number 30, Michael Waltrip.
It looks like Presley can use either group, Ken.
Oh, we got a car spinning. Got one down. It's going to bring out the yellow.
Cecil Eunice, car number 19.
Oh, that's a bad moment for Cecil. Had real high hopes. He made a good run tonight. Thus far in the race, we've only had 3 official retirees.
Does anyone want to guess where we had the problem? How about the same place? It's not the racetrack, folks. It's just something that if there's going to be an area where you tighten the cars up, get in behind, it's going to be right there.
All right, let's take a look at what happened. He's already stuffed up in the wall. Cecil Eunice, number 19, goes away. Ernie Irvin was on pit road. He's coming back out. That has cost Ernie some. We're under caution for the 6th time. Back with more of the Autolite Platinum 200 shortly. 59, Gant still in front. There are a lot of aspects to this motorsports business, and no one covers them more thoroughly than Chris Economy.
For many years, sponsors in auto racing came from the automotive world. Car companies, tire companies, accessory firms, and companies of that nature. But in recent booming popularity of stock car racing has lured the food, beverage, and candy industries into the sport. It is interesting that of the 34 racing stock cars lined up on the track for tonight's Autolite Platinum 200, 14 of them are sponsored by food, beverage, candy, or restaurant companies. The question, of course, is why?
You got it. You got it. Need I say more?
Ken, all I want to know, what happened to Ultra Slim?
Yeah, right. Of course, they didn't get economacting and profile, which would have been the payoff to that. 171 laps are complete. We're getting set one lap to green. And here's how we line up. Gant has the Buick up in front. Darrell Waltrip with the Chevrolet is in second. Michael Waltrip is in third. Robert Presley in fourth. Dale Jarrett will be fifth. Morgan Shepherd in sixth. Ward Burton is seventh. Earnhardt eighth. Nemechek is ninth. Ernie Irvin is back in 10th. There are 10 cars in the lead lap. One lap down is Tom Peck in the number 96. Going for green, 171 laps complete.
We called it a Friday and Saturday night race. It is now. These guys are like 25 and 30 lap heat races. We're fixing to turn them loose, see if they can remember what they used to do.
Guess who's got the winning number tonight?
Number 7, sitting over here, Debbie.
Bet against her own husband right now.
And I'm going to tell him when it's over.
Her 2 bits looks pretty good as he jumps out in front by a 5-car length advantage. Cut it down to 3 as Waltrip gets right back on the bottom of the racetrack. Puts that Chevy back in the hunt, and his little brother, Mikey, comes right with it. $119,000 at stake. Autolite Platinum 200. You're watching it live on Prime tonight from Richmond International Raceway. In that 4th position is Robert Presley. 5th is Dale Jarrett. Morgan Shepherd line in 6th, trying to find a little running room on the bottom. And up on the outside, but being shown a lap down, is Dick Trickle in the Ted Condor number 18. Grissom running slowly on the bottom of the racetrack. Back stretch, the guy that finished second here a year ago, he may be pitting. Here comes your leader, Gant by.
And here comes Presley making that move to the inside under Mike Waltrip. He's been the strongest car on after that last restart, and he's getting on the inside of Waltrip.
Back straightaway, coming around to complete 175 laps this time. And it's Harry Gant out in front. There you see him with Waltrip running second and third in the Autolite Platinum 200.
This week in NASCAR gives you the chance to talk with your favorite racers, from Darrell Waltrip to Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd to Ken Schrader. NASCAR's top drivers and crew chiefs will answer your questions and share their expertise from every stop on the NASCAR circuit, live. This week in NASCAR.
This week in NASCAR, every Thursday night on NESN.
179 laps complete, and the caution is out again. Leading rookie contender in the Grand National ranks, David Green out of Owensboro, Kentucky, has really tagged the concrete up here in turn 3 and 4. Sliding in 3 and right in the middle, in the apex of the turn, he socks the wall in car number 8. Rescue squad is out there. 180 complete. He was running in 15th, a lap down when this incident took place. Pretty strong hit.
And right after that, we avoided about a 15-car wreck. They've beaten bumpers and fenders all together, dodging it.
Here's Mike Joy.
And Ken, here in the Pontiac Pit Center, will update you on the cars out of the race prior to this incident. Elton Sawyer, Todd Bodine smacked the wall. Peter Suspenza retired. Jeff Burton and Troy Beebe. And an update on the curious situation of Morgan Shepherd. On the 14th lap, the ratchet in the rear end broke loose for about half a lap and then hooked up again. And then on lap 164, as you noted up top side, he was running in 3rd position, suddenly dropped way back. It kicked out again, then it re-ratcheted, and Shepherd is sailing along there in 6th place with his fingers crossed.
Well, we understand that there is a red flag coming on the course. They may bring a red flag out. Indeed, that is the case. It is a red flag condition out here on the speedway. They'll bring them down to a halt.
First of all, Ken, I don't think it's the severity of the wreck that's involved. I think these fans are out here to see a race, and they want this thing to end under green, because I think David's out of the car already. They're working with him. I think they're going to red flag it so we can see 15, 18 high-speed laps to finish the race.
Well, we'll be back for the finish of the Autolite Platinum 200 here at Richmond International Raceway shortly. Lap, it's going to be a thriller. 3 laps. The cars have not been brought to a halt. They're still running down the back straightaway. We understand there's a lot of water, a lot of oil out there in turn number 3. But even though the red is being shown, that lap marker keeps going up. We're at 182 now.
Maybe a billion candle power makes that look yellow to them instead of red. For some reason, they're not stopping. Now they're stopping on the back straightaway.
Here's Chris Economaki.
Well, as you said, Ken, the problem is the engine in David Green's car apparently was split open in his accident. They say that's all oil, water, clear across the track and up against the outside rail. Cleaning it up is a next to an impossibility with the cars running on the track. Whether they'll restart or not remains to be seen.
Thanks, Chris. They now have brought them to a halt out here on the back straightaway. They're bringing in Green's car, and we're getting ready to go again after they really clean up this mess in turn number 3. Stay with us here at Richmond International Raceway for more coverage from World Sports of the Autolite Platinum 200. 3-minute respite here on the back straightaway. They've turned them loose again, and they're bringing the field around. Here are the standings. Gant first, Waltrip's second and third. Robert Presley, outstanding run in fourth. Dale Jarrett in fifth. Looking a little further back, Morgan Shepherd in sixth, and Earnhardt seventh. Urban is eighth. Nemechek in ninth, and Ward Burton is in 10th with 183 now being shown. Just completed the 183rd. And let's not forget that point race with Wallace and Labonte. They're on the same lap. And Wallace is running ahead. He stands to take the point lead right now. Here's Mike Joy, Pontiac Pit Center.
Ken, the word on David Green is he is being transported to the hospital. They have wrapped and taped his ribs as a precaution, and also having a look at his right ankle, which appears to be injured, but not as serious as we may have first thought. But he has been transported from the racing facility here, but not with serious injury.
Well, thanks for that update. That's the story on David Green, the young Owensboro, Kentucky campaigner. Pretty good racers have come out of Owensboro. A little racetrack up there in the old days. One lap, and I think we're going to turn them loose with Harry Gant, who started 29th in the lead. And there remain 17 laps. Light is off on the pace car. We're ready to go racing.
On this restart, Robert Presley has been really running all over the guys in front of him. If he can get around Mike Waltrip, I think he can really get around Darrell a little bit easier. So he's got a strong car. If he can get around Mikey, I believe he can make a move on him.
Dick Bergeron is down there with the crew chief on that car.
Ricky Pearson, 16 laps to go. Can you get the job done?
Well, I'm not sure. I thought we could. We got 4 tires on the last caution, which I thought was a good move. But these caution laps are killing us. But, at the end of these races, these Winston Cup guys make their car about twice as wide as it is, so we'll have to wait and see.
Got a tough run for him.
Here we come for the start. 16 laps to go as the pace car ducks in. Gant first, Waltrip's second and third, Robert Presley in fourth. Dale Jarrett is in fifth, and there's the break. Peck in the 96, the blue car up on the outside, lap down, being shown in 11th. On the break into the back straightaway, Harry Gant tries to pull away, and Waltrip digs in.
And it's hard to tell which one's digging in the hardest. Mike is really putting a lot of pressure on Darrell, and he's got Presley hammering on his back bumper, so they're really hustling right now.
Into turn number 1. Everybody takes the high line and waits. Out of 2. Gant first, the 17 of Waltrip second. Down the backstretch, the Pennzoil car running third, then the Alliance number 59 in fourth.
Robert looks like he's going to maybe try that outside groove, but he comes back down.
Part of that outside groove has been taken away with that coming in, going in the third turn from that last engine, so he didn't have a whole lot to work with when he goes in that corner. There's Mike Waltrip trying to get up under Darrell, and he's got him.
And here's Presley. He took a look on the outside, but Michael Waltrip made the hole. Michael Waltrip down to the inside, and it's brother against brother in turn 3. And Michael Waltrip takes over, and he brings Presley to third. Darrell falls to fourth. He may take another spot back down the line.
Jarrett got by Waltrip also.
And puts Jarrett into fourth, and Darrell Waltrip falls to fifth and into the clutches of car number 97. We got a car spinning in the wall in turn number 2.
Ed Barrier, car number 33.
Brand new sponsor for tonight. They race back to the line. They come back to the stripe, and Gant is there with Michael Waltrip in second. And there you see that number 33 car, the barrier machine, lying up against the wall. This comes at lap 189. It's down to a Saturday night shootout. This is what you expect on a Friday or Saturday night. That kind of a deal where every 3 or 4 laps, somebody goes away.
Here's the car. He lost it getting down in the corner. It's hard to tell if he had a motor problem, whatever. He really got in the wall hard.
So, there you see barriers number 33 into the barrier and out of this race. We'll be back for the finale in a moment. 190 laps to go, and this red flag has been brought out in an effort to conserve laps and let them run this race under green rather than have the race run out under yellow.
You know, as we said earlier, it's nice to see them do this and let these fans see a race end under the green.
Let's go down to the Pontiac Pit Center for just a moment with Mike Joy. Mike, this seems like a new move by NASCAR.
Well, it is for this series, Ken. Now, back on the New England short tracks where I grew up, one track had a rule where if they had a caution that required cleanup, they would run 5 laps under caution and then have a mandatory red flag. Now, in past races in this series, especially on the super speedways, they would continue to run yellow while the debris was cleaned up, regardless of what lap. And we saw some races end under yellow. So this does seem to be a shift more toward accommodating the race fans. I think, though, that NASCAR is going to need a clear policy on this. How many laps you run under caution before you put that red flag out so that you don't have a quick red for one car and then maybe a long run of yellow when somebody else is up front. Who knows? But it's an interesting development. We are under red here at Richmond, Virginia. We'll be right back.
Barrier in turn number 1. Here's what happened to a car called Grease Lightning.
And it looks like a lot of smoke, and it might have been greased tires from a blown engine or something, because he had a lot of smoke getting in the corner. Didn't get in the wall that hard, but it's enough to stop him.
Apparently it's okay. Let's get this update from Chris Economac.
Darrell Waltrip owes a debt of thanks to Morgan Shepherd. On the penultimate red flag, his battery was found to be dead. But his brother was behind him, gave him a push and got him a start. And while he was sitting there waiting for this one to get started, he wondered whether anybody would get him going again. Well, apparently Morgan Shepherd has, and he's back in contention.
The Ed Whitaker car for Harry Gant is in front. In second, Michael Waltrip. In third, Presley. In fourth, Dale Jarrett. Fifth is Darrell Waltrip. Sixth, Morgan Shepherd. Seventh is Earnhardt. Eighth is Ernie Irvin. Ninth is Joe Nemechek. And in 10th is Ward Burton. As we get down to 8 laps remaining, light is off on the pace car. When the pace car pulls on pit road and they go back to green, there will be 7 laps remaining in this event. For a spectacular finish here tonight in the Autolite Platinum Tour.
And Gant's sitting on the point. He's going to be a tough character to get off of it.
Come a long way this evening from 29th position.
The only Busch car in the top 8 is Robert Presley, and he's going to be right on that bumper trying to win this race.
Strong car.
Nemechek back in 9th. There's the break, and Presley in the 59 got a little sideways in 4. Michael Waltrip in that second spot is able to stand secure for the moment, and Harry Gant draws away by 4 car lengths. Coming around, there will be 6 laps to go this time. We've got one car slicing up into the wall, Dick Trickle, and I don't think he's going to bring out a flag. He bounced off the second turn wall, and he's slowing dramatically down the back straightaway. There's the 18 trying to get back onto pit road. He's diving down to the inside, going to make it. Meanwhile, out in front, Gant is there. He has that advantage of about 3.5 car lengths over number 30, Michael Waltrip. And there's Presley in third, Dale Jarrett in fourth. Now there are 5 laps remaining. Presley coming to the inside. Robert Presley having an outstanding night. The 32-year-old out of Asheville, North Carolina, making that move to the bottom of the racetrack in turn 2. He's running high. He's running low. He is not intimidated by that corner one single bit. He's up to second place. Can he close now as the laps run down? 4 to go.
Yeah, he's been so strong. He looked like if he got around him, he could make a move. I think he can run Harry down. The question is, if he runs him down, can he pass him? And we might get that answer in a hurry right here.
He's run him down. He's cut it by half into turn number 3. What a run for Robert Presley.
The key to this, Ken, is we just talked to Larry Pearson, Ricky Pearson in there a while ago, and he said they put 4 new tires on that car, and it's really showing up right now.
Daniel Welch, the car owner, is going to be chewing some fingernails right now as we're down to the final moments.
Another key to this, Ken, is Robert Presley's hungry for a win. He has one win this year, but he's not worried about points right now. He wants to win this race.
There's Jarrett working on Michael Waltrip's rear bumper in that battle for third. A couple to go.
Now the question is, how wide can that little 7 car get here with 2 laps to go?
Real wide with Harry Gant in control. He knows how to drive these tracks.
This sport is just like any other sport. There's offense and there's defense. You go off offense, you go to defense right now and see if you can hold the man off.
All right, there's 1 lap to go as Harry Gant has to do it defensively. The other, and look at that move by Jarrett down on the inside, going around turn 2. Jarrett trying for 3rd spot. Looks like he's on his way. Can Presley close in those final moments on the leader? Look at this battle. Even. Meanwhile, for the lead, up in front, coming to the line. Presley coming to the outside. He's going to try to, can't get through. To the line. It is number 7, Harry Gant, and Ernie Irvan spins on the last corner as they run out of time. The winner is Harry Gant in the Ed Whitaker car, number 7. A great run for Gant again tonight from 29th position. The Chris Carrier prepared car carries Gant back to victory lane another time.
And it looked like Dale Jarrett nipped Mike Waltrip by about a foot at the start-finish line for 3rd.
We'll meet Harry Gant, the winner of Platinum 200 in victory lane here at Richmond International Raceway in a moment. World sports coverage of the Autolite Platinum 200 has been brought to you by Oldsmobile, inviting you to stop by your Oldsmobile dealer for a test drive and see what's new from the new generation of Olds. By Nestle Crunch, get the taste of victory. Nestle Crunch ice cream bars. Chocolate scrunches when it crunches. By Fram oil filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later. And by True Value. Got a tough job to do? You can do it. True Value hardware stores. The man in victory lane for 40 years in American racing is here tonight at Richmond. Let's go to Chris.
There we are with Harry Gant. Congratulations, Harry. 2 in a week. What about all those starts at the end? What was going through your mind?
Well, I really would rather they had kept running. You know, the red flag stopped. Seemed like every time I could get a little bit ahead, but I had rather kept going hard because Darrell had new tires on, you know, and I thought I was going to get beat there with that 29 car at the end, but it seemed like I just sort of stuck pretty good the last 2 laps. I was glad to see that white flag come out.
What was it that won for you? Because early in the race you weren't up there.
Well, we just kept running. We wasn't real fast, but the car just kept being consistent, running on the old tires. It never did fall off any, and we kept gaining a little bit during the race, so we made a pit stop. The crew got us out, and that put us up on the board for the first time. We made our pit stop under green, then we made the next one come out in 2nd spot. So the pit crew just done a super job here getting us out. But the car, it wasn't real fast, but it was handled good. It stayed right there and not wear the tires out too bad.
Well, Harry, we know you're an old elderly gentleman. Is it past your bedtime?
Yeah, I go to bed at 8:30.
That's his 15th Grand National win. His last Grand National win, how about February? Right here at the Richmond International Raceway. Harry Gant celebrating, but he's got to get to bed. He's got a lot more work to do this weekend. Back in a moment. For one of the great campaigners, 51 years plus. Old Harry Gant really put it on him tonight, Neil.
Ken, if we ever saw Harry Gant win a race that he didn't get out and say, boy, my old car just wouldn't run, I just kept plugging away with it. He's the best I've ever seen it. Just stay in there. And he wasn't kidding about going to bed. He's pretty old, but he doesn't need a lot of rest.
Let's take a look at that last lap action that was taking place up here in turn 4. This is Ernie Irvan scooting down in there, and there goes Labonte down to the inside trying to get through. Catches Ernie, sends him sideways. Did he get the wall? I think he just grazed it. Took a little off the tail of car number 10. Wild moment for Ernie Irvan as they were racing to the line. And now here's the story, Debbie. We get down to the end of this one. That point battle as they move to Dover, Delaware, does a turnaround, does a flip-flop, but it's just as exciting as it was when he came in.
It sure does. Bobby Labonte was 1 point ahead going into this race over Kenny Wallace. They did a flip-flop. Kenny Wallace is now 2 points ahead of Bobby Labonte going to the next race at Dover.
This Grand National Racing is just such a thrilling spectacle. And we'll be back to tell you more of the story here of the Autolite Platinum 200 in a moment. They averaged 88 miles per hour tonight. There were 15 lead changes among 11 drivers before this one was decided. There were 8 cautions for 47 laps. Everybody came out of this just in fine shape, although there were some bad moments out here bouncing off those walls. That's the story tonight. Harry Gant is victorious for Chris Economaki and Dick Bergeron down on pit road. Debbie Bound and Neil Bonded alongside. I'm Ken Squire. And a final thought from the Pontiac Pit Center. Here's Mike Joy.
Thank you, Ken. A final look at the standings. Harry Gant at victory lane. Robert Presley upheld the honor of the Busch Series regulars. Dale Jarrett, Michael Waltrip, Morgan Shepherd picked up a hard-earned 5th after those rear-end problems. Darrell Waltrip, then Dale Earnhardt, Joe Nemechek, the Busch regular, Ward Burton, and Ernie Irvin. We hope you've enjoyed World Sports coverage of the Autolite Platinum 200. Good night.